Hi. Coming to you from Toronto, Canada, the very popular city because of our mayor. This is a very, very difficult situation, and he is a functional addict. And that's what I really want to talk to you about today, is about functional addiction. I'm Victoria Lorient-faibish, holistic psychotherapist, and today the topic is: what is functional addiction, what is addiction generally, and what is needed to overcome it? And I really want to address this very, very important topic. So functional addiction is basically having an addiction but still being able to get up in the morning and do your job. It largely involves a lot of binging, binge drinking, binge engaging in that whatever addiction behavior is. What is addiction? I love this definition. Doing activities, patterns, behaviors that you know is harmful to yourself and others. You're well aware of the harm. You are well aware of how negative it is for yourself and others in your life, yet you just can't seem to stop doing it. That is addiction. So clearly that particular addiction, in my view, applies not just to alcohol and all the different substances, but also to things like, being addicted to a relationship, being addicted to a behavior like shopping, spending money, or working. The most societally vetted addiction is workaholism. Work. People just give you compliments and say, good job, you're working, and you're getting up and doing, and you're being productive. And I think that's what's happening for the mayor, is he gets a lot of kudos for the fact that he gets up and he does his work, and he's functioning in various ways that society would say are okay, i.e. getting to work on time, etc. But then in the end, there's all these binging and crazy behaviors, and not a lot of personal responsibility being taken. And sadly, what I find very sad to observe as a Torontonian is there's a lot of people really just enabling him to not stop what he's doing and not get the appropriate amount of help, like rehab for a month or 2 or 3. But this is not about the mayor, or it's just a topic that's just so much in the media right now, and I just wanted to talk about what does it take to get over an addiction. And clearly what I believe, and many professionals would agree with, you got to take personal responsibility, and you have to hit a bottom. You gotta kind of see that the cost benefit, the costs are outweighing the benefits, and you have to really feel that in a very visceral way, that there is a loss of people, a loss of income, so functional addiction in effect actually just delays the getting to the meat of a person making a decision and saying, this is no longer tenable for me, this is no longer something I can live with or keep up anymore. And so I'm always quite concerned about when I see functional addicts, because they seem to be able to have this duality. On the one hand, they're just an absolute out of control mess. On the other hand, they're able to get up and perform, and that is what keeps that behavior alive and well. It's like, well, at least I can get up and run a city, or I can get up and do my job, or at least I can make money for my family, or whatever it is. But that just delays the inevitable, because addiction is cumulative and insidious, and it just leads a person eventually to complete destruction of themselves, but sadly not just of themselves, of their children, which is just really, really so tough to watch as a person from the outside. Children of alcoholics and children of addicts are destroyed. They are destroyed by parents that don't stop and prioritize them. And what I mean by prioritizing your children is to say, yeah, I have an addiction and I'm going to go get help, and my child, my son, my daughter, observe your parent who is taking responsibility. Of course, there are some people who do that, but it is rare. And so the number one thing is completely realizing that the only way to do it is to take responsibility, and also to hit your bottom, and then change everything. Change everything. The people you hang out with. And that's why it's so difficult, because it requires such drastic change to overcome addiction. But it is possible. I see it all the time, people coming out the other side of their addictions. They still are addicts, but they are no longer active. And they did it because they became very humble, and they became very introspective, and they became really looking at themselves. They started to really look at themselves and say, what I'm doing is I want to just pause what I'm saying and say, when people are in addiction, they've got grandiosity going on. There's a lot of narcissism and grandiosity happening. And so there's this sort of addiction to the high of that feeling, that excitement feeling when they're involved in the addiction. So it really requires a person to become very humbled and less arrogant when they are entering the road of health and healing. They got to really just say, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, and I've got to stop what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is destructive to myself and others. You need people around you to support you, and you need people around you to take you through that very tough moment when you're going from the place of fully active addict to first quitting. So getting through addiction requires immense effort, immense focus, and immense support. And that's what I'm hoping for will happen with our mayor, because the guy's a mess, and we're definitely he's definitely the laughing stock of a lot of people. So I as a therapist, I watch this and I shake my head and I go, goodness, this man needs to get some help, and he needs to stop the bravado and stop the craziness, stop the madness. All right, I just want to tell you that I have a book that's come out, and I invite you to check out the website that talks about it and where you can get it. It's www.self-culture.com, and it's called Find Your Self Culture. The book is called Find Your Self Culture, Moving from Depression and Anxiety to Monumental Self-Acceptance, and the website is self-culture.com.